DownHome Up Close is brought to you by...
Sometimes life brings us challenges, and when attorney Ron Johnson goes to work every day, he's ready to fight for you. Ron Johnson represents clients in personal injury and wrongful death cases, provides mediation in matters such as wills and real estate transactions, and assists with Social Security disability. His goal is to serve his community and help his clients navigate complicated systems to access the benefits and fair treatment they are entitled to by law. He'll make sure you understand your rights and responsibilities and won't leave you behind to fend for yourself. Ron Johnson's office is local, and he is accessible to work with you personally, whether face-to-face, by phone, or video conference. Let his 53 years of experience help guide you to peace of mind and the best possible outcome in your case. Your first consultation is free. Charges for Social Security disability services are subject to approval by the Social Security Administration. Call the Law Office of Ron B. Johnson at 972-938-7163 or visit www.lawofficeofronjohnson.com to schedule your free consultation.
Hi Ellis County, I'm Amy Troll and I'm with Jane Sloan yet again in her beautiful backyard. And today we are making something called oyas, and I will let Jane explain what that is and the purpose behind it and how we can make it ourselves.
Okay. In ancient times, the Chinese discovered that they could bury pots in the ground because they had to carry water long ways. And so it was not economical for them to carry one pot of water and then go back and get another pot of water. So they determined that if they buried the containers in the ground, the plants would take the water as it was needed and the water would not be wasted. So that's where oyas came about. If you've been to Wimberley, Texas, there is a manufacturing company in Wimberley, Texas, and they make oyas. And they make oyas that are this big.
Oh wow.
And they're hundreds of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And people buy them. I have a friend who has a raised bed garden, and in her raised beds, because she is kind of handicapped a little bit, she can't get down and garden, so she has used oyas. And if you pull up one of the oyas out of her garden, the roots of all the plants have wrapped around it because they basically are taking the water from that. So that is a way of watering your plants. You can do the same thing in your house. Have you seen those little blue bulbs that people buy and stick in their pot plants?
Yeah.
That's kind of a concept of an oya, very briefly, but not really. And so today I'm going to show you how you can take something that would cost you $25, $30 or more dollars, and this actually has a little thing in there, and I'll explain why it's very important to have a lid on it. And you could plant that in the ground, and if you planted that in the ground and filled it with water, then it would serve the same purpose. However, at $30 versus $2, we can make some ourselves. So I'm going to put this one back down here. Let's pretend this is our garden. This is our garden, and we have, let's say, 5 acres. This is the 5 acres, okay? In the 5 acres, if we take and space out the oyas in different places, then it reduces the fact that we have to come and water every day, because the plants will only take the water when needed, because these are going to be buried in the soil. The other half, like, it's going to be like this. So this half is buried in the soil, and this half is not. So to make an oya, a cheap, very economical one, you take 2 clay pots. Now the clay pots cannot be glazed. If they're glazed, it will not work.
Okay.
They also, one of them needs to not have a hole in it. So by not having a hole in it, it's very hard to find one. So if you go to your husband's bin, you can find bolts and screws. So I can place the bolt and screw there, and then somewhere I have the other end of it, and you put it on there, and it will stay in the container. There is a cheaper option, which I'm sure most people would probably prefer, is to take silicone. Do not use a glue gun, because that's not going to hold up. So you actually need the silicone. silicone that's waterproof. And so you put this on here and you glue that to that.
Okay.
So that way, now this will be the part that goes down into the soil. The part that is going to stay up needs a hole in it. So when you have your Oya, this one's got a little nail in it. So I glue this together, put the silicone on there. And you've got to make sure that there's no leaks. Otherwise it will not work. So you can put your little sprinkler water in there. Then you're going to bury it into the ground where the only thing that shows is basically the very top. And so the more you can get in the ground because of evaporation, the better. And so if you only had this much showing, that would be acceptable as well.
Okay.
So what we're going to do here, we're going to take and we're going to use silicone. We're going to put it into there, and we're going to put some silicone in here, and then we're going to take this bolt and we're going to put it through there into the silicone. And of course, if we were, before we put it in the ground, we would wait for it to dry.
Sure.
And I have a bolt somewhere that I can put on the other end of it, so tighten it up so it would be very, very tight.
Okay.
So this is going to be what goes into the ground. Now, to make the second part of the Oya, you need to make sure that, oh, because of our, well, it's kind of sticky. Right. We're going to put the silicone all the way around, maybe. There's got to be a better way. I just don't know what it is. And you can't use those glue guns because they won't hold up. So you put this all the way around. So we're going to pretend we have that all the way around. Then we're going to put the second half onto here. And we're going to allow this to dry. So once it has dried, I will come back and put another silicone layer around here so that it will be,
To make sure it's
completely waterproof. Because if you fill it with water and there's a little seep hole, then all the water comes out.
Yeah.
Once it's dry, I'm going to bury it in the ground with this part right here down. But we have a problem because we don't want snakes, worms, or other critters going down in here.
Right.
So we have two choices. In the great big pots, I've used something like this. You can put a piece of styrofoam on here. And here's the nice part. The styrofoam will make it float.
Oh.
And then, so you can just walk by, and if it's down, it's full of water. If it's up, it's not full of water.
Yeah.
So this, and then the styrofoam also helps. Now, if you don't want to do that, you can get a small clay pot top. You're not going to glue it, but you can set it on there. And I would probably go ahead and put a rock on there on top of that. So we're going to bury that into the ground up to here, and we won't see it again until the end of the summer. So we come along and we add water, and then the next week we come along and we add water. And as the plants grow, they will begin to wrap around. They will feed their roots. So from here to here, the roots will go underground and will come to the water. And so you are not having to water them every week.
So the water's actually coming out,
Because
like from the,
yes, from the clay pot.
which is why it can't be glazed.
Right, that's why it cannot, good
Yeah.
point, that's why it
Yeah.
cannot be glazed. Because the plants themselves are pulling, the roots are pulling the water out.
Okay.
And it allows that to happen. And I've tried this, and it's a pretty good idea. It really works well for pot plants if you're going to go off. You can make some small ones similar to this
Yeah.
and put them in there. But I will tell you that if you leave the top open, snakes will go down in there.
Yeah.
I can tell you that for sure.
Yeah. Because they're looking for water
They're
wherever
looking
they can
for
find
water and a place to hide.
Yeah.
So these are called oyas. Some people call them OLLA spelling. Some people call them OYA spelling. And I've looked it up, and both of them are accepted in the dictionary. But it is a process, again, produced to use in the garden and save water.
Okay, awesome.
So,
Well, thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
sharing this awesome tidbit with us, and let us know if you ever try to make one of these and how it works, and
yes,
maybe the challenges that you face in making it.
yes, maybe we should have an Oya contest.
We could. Yes.
And but see, I want to decorate so bad.
Yeah.
If you can't decorate, you've got to
Right.
leave them so that
Got to be plain.
plain,
Got to be.
so the water will be absorbed.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
All
thanks,
right.
Miss Jane.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great day. We'll see you next time.